All right, YouTube, Occult Literature video number 19, Andreas Luppius printing of Semiphoras and Schemhamforash, which is an extremely interesting text. I'll get into why. It's more in-depth than some other texts on similar subjects, let's face it, dating back from the Renaissance through the Enlightenment. As always, there's a link in the description to the Amazon page for my edition of this work, and a second link to my books blog, which contains a great deal more material. It's still under maintenance, but the maintenance on the blog is half done, so there's that at least. So be positive, I suppose. Semiphoras and Schemhamforash really is an extensive, and I do mean extensive, categorical system. It's 49 pages in length, so it's short to mid-length, sort of occult text from this time period. Many of them were under 100 pages. It gets into the zodiac signs, literally astrology, as it relates to the angelic, invoking angels for different purposes, humble prayers to beseech the Lord, and so forth, as well as sort of going through the orders of angels, telling what they represent. Specifically, though, I think most people are going to be most interested in the astrological lore as it relates to the angelic, because these are two things you don't always find together. It's either a seemingly arbitrary system of categories for the angels, their orders, their powers, their planets, and so forth. It really has nothing to do with modern zodiac that's used in the West. Or it's an astrological piece that deals with the zodiac and its cosmic meaning, but it either omits or doesn't directly categorize any sort of angelic forces. So you have Michael and Gabriel and Raphael and all of these different forces. They have their own signs, they have their own planets, they have their own meanings. This is perhaps the only work that goes into so much depth in actually creating such a categorical system. For those who do intend to invoke such forces, again, you don't necessarily have to believe in Judeo-Christian metaphysics and believe literally in these beings as agents of some all-powerful, omnipotent, singular male Hebrew Lord or anything like that. But if you're interested in the study thereof, this is one of the more invaluable texts on the subject. There are other works, Solomonic in form essentially, that cover basically the same concept, but none of them, certainly in this small amount of space, none of them categorize it to this degree of detail. There are numerous sections that categorize them one after the other. Oftentimes you get a fixation on days of the week. This doesn't use a system of 7 so much as a system of 12 to a much greater extent. Say what you want about numerology, insert opinion here. But Andreas Luppius is simply, and I should point out because I've got Luppius' name actually in the title, was not the author so much as the one performing the first printing of the work. And it's been spelled several different ways as well. Anton LaVey uses the term Schemhamforash as well, or did back when he was alive before he keeled over. He spelled it differently. I retained the more authentic spelling upon the original printing. This has, of course, been edited for antiquated word usage, as all of my editions tend to be, except for a few usages within the context of invocations where you can't actually change the word, because then it necessarily will lose its original intent, its original meaning. Within the context of an actual spell, invocation, prayer, whatever it happens to be, spelling remains antiquated. Elsewhere, it's been fully modernized. So again, link in the description to where you can purchase this work off of Amazon, and a second link to my books blog, which is undergoing actively maintenance. There are now links as well to both the Occult Literature series, which is what you're watching, as well as the Occult Informational series, which is more general topics, new header and so forth. I'll be adding more links later and creating pages to sort of categorize the works that I've released based on their content. A section for alchemy, a section for more diabolical works, a section for philosophy, and so forth. I think that would be helpful for navigating the blog for people who don't want to go back through several pages of material. That's about all. Peace out.